when I watched that game, this is one of the key things that I had to highlight and say like, wow, that was super interesting. And one of the other parts is what I saw that Martinez, at the last part, like the second half of the extra time, the tradition of Portugal came back of like, we're just gonna sit and we don't care. We just wanted to go to penalties. And I was just impressed, like thinking like, I don't know if the coach wanted that, but the team clearly didn't want it to move forward anymore because they all dropped back and said like, okay, we're just gonna defend, run this down, and let's take it on into penalties. And you sometimes don't expect people to do that, but Portugal did it prior to this. They had done it before, and they did it again, and they won.
Two sides then to this Cristiano Ronaldo argument. Of course, we heard yesterday Stevie and Ali explaining the fact that, yes, he got the goal, but how much reliability is he during that 90 minutes that kind of outweighs the goal that he's going to get? What are you losing having on the pitch, and what are you gaining, and where's that balance struck?
Well, that was the dynamic when he was at Man United, wasn't they? When people said he didn't run around enough, didn't close down, didn't start off the press, but then Ronaldo would say, well, I got 20-odd goals a season. Listen, I think it's remarkable what he's doing at 40. I think he's a shining example to any youngster that's making their way into professional football, how to live your life and how to conduct yourself in terms of have a sports scientist, have your own chef, have everything about you that's going to make you last till you're 40 years old. Now, that's the big question. How much you get by playing him in terms of when he gets a chance he's going to score. But what he doesn't give you when you haven't got the ball, you're a man down, because at 40 you can't be chasing here, there and everywhere to try and start that press off and close down. So I think for a manager, it must be very difficult to try and navigate what you do with it.
Roberto Martinez set out it's still early. He said he's playing, that's it.
So, but the conversation you would have with Ronaldo is hopefully Roberto Martinez has got that relationship with Ronaldo to say, listen, if you are faded in the game, and it might be half time, it might be an hour, don't be upset that I've got to make a brave call and take you off. Don't make it all about you, because that's going to have to happen at 40.
He doesn't need to have that conversation. You're the boss, aren't you?
Yeah, but I still think you need to have it. I think you need to have it private in a 1v1 conversation. You wouldn't phone him up and do it via Zoom, right? You'd have the conversation, go and say, I say that in jest. No, I think what you've got to make sure is he doesn't start, acting all up when you take him off on 75 minutes if you're 1-0 down or 0-0. You've got to be brave enough and man enough to say, look, I've got to make big calls. And at times, if we're not getting too much success at the top end of the pitch, sometimes you might have to be the man that comes off.
I'll be honest, I'm not sure I trust Roberto Martinez to be that man to make that big a call. First of all, I'll double down on what Don said. To see Cristiano Ronaldo doing what he is at 40 is simply incredible. It really is. At no point do I feel that Ronaldo is that kind of big-headed, bad apple in that dressing room. Everything about him says that he continues to contribute, at least from a personality and leadership perspective, in a way that you fully expected, that you fully hope. Now, that may not translate to performances, given that he's 40 years old, so you understand him being around, but Roberto Martinez is not going to make that call. He can't. He won't.
Obviously, you played under Roberto Martinez, Mario.
Yeah, and I know he will never going to make that call, because when I played under him, I knew exactly what his decisions were. He's not going to tell Ronaldo to come out of the team. If Ronaldo... If they personally, because they look like they have a great relationship, so I don't think that is going to be a difficulty for them to have that conversation in the sense of like what it's going to be. But knowing Martinez, like in a time, okay, maybe a lot have changed because it's you as human you change, but I think he will do that out of himself, like how Martinez is. He will have the conversation and say to him like, look, I think that was one of the key points. I think it was Dan or Shaka said that there comes a point where you also as a player have to understand that, listen, you're 40, I got to take you off. You understand? If it's going to be like, if I see after 45 minutes, you're not bringing what the team needs, I hope you, you have to understand that you have to come and sit next to me. And Ronaldo is that big of a player. At this point, I think where Ronaldo is now in his career, he already have to achieve more than any football player in the world can talk about. So, okay, what we have now. At this point, I'm talking about, maybe you have Messi. But away from that, them two, you come to a point, you go and sit, tell the coach, okay, I want to go, maybe if you still want to go to the World Cup, it's a big question, but whatever you want to achieve, be calm, sit down and make sure that your country wins. That's the only goal Ronaldo should have, and that's what Martinez has to go for too.
Where's he going to go, Gab? Who's he going to play for between now and the World Cup?
Well, it looks like he's going back to Saudi Arabia, going back to Al Nasser. There was some suggestion, thanks to investigative journalist Aisho Speed, who of course was visited by Gianni Infantino during one of his streams, and Infantino reminded everybody, "Hey, look, maybe he can come and he can sign with anybody. We have this little transfer window, and then he can go back to Saudi Arabia."